Hello there guys, welcome back to my channel for yet another live stream, but this time, as you can clearly see, things are a bit different because I am not by myself, as I am today, joined by Mr. Carefree, Lewis G, and also Mr. Craigo 28 Football, or just Ian, you know, he goes by various names.
Either's fine, either's fine.
But yeah, we're here today to discuss a lot of different things, especially as it's transfer deadline day. And absolutely nothing is happening at Chelsea Football Club, which is not necessarily the worst thing because we've already had a brilliant transfer window. But it is a bit strange with how big our squad is. Surely we must have about the biggest squad in world football right now. Like, it's ridiculous how many players we have. It's mental. There might still be some loans going on, like Ruben Loftus-Cheek, maybe like Tomori now that Rüdiger seems to be staying. But in general, not much to be happening. And that's exactly what we're going to discuss. So, boys, if you want to quickly introduce yourselves, although I'd be very surprised if any of you don't know these two, but, you know, introduce yourselves anyway. Let's start with Ian.
Oh, okay. I mean, what do you want me to say? I mean, I make crappy videos.
3 facts about yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Let's do that. Lie. 3 facts about Ian.
we could, to be fair, do 2 truths, 1 lie.
Oh, go on then. Let's do that.
Oh, we could do it.
Now I've got to think.
Yeah. I've met Zidane. I have broken my leg. And I have...
Shit internet.
I thought you were still thinking.
So here we have 1 truth or 1 lie, or
maybe 2 truths.
Yeah, exactly, or that. So Lewis, how about you go? We'll see when Ian ever turns up again.
Oh mate, now I've got to think. 2 truths and a lie. I've been pitch side at Stamford Bridge. I've been pitch side at Old Trafford, and I've been pitch side at the Emirates. I can do that. Yeah.
All right. So am I meant to guess now, or are the people meant to guess? I mean, we have nearly 60 people. So
you might as well just guess, because I don't even know if everyone's still going along with it. But have a guess.
True. Let me have a guess. See that guy in the chat, Laurenz Waterball. He's my G. He changed his channel's name. He changed his channel's name during my Champions League draw reaction because I kept.
Yeah, your Waterball is iconic now. I hear a lot of people talking about it. There it is.
Oh, look at that. Good old Jay's in the chat as well. How you doing, Jay?
Yes, Jay.
So what's your lie? Let me think. Well, no, Old Trafford makes no sense with where the away end is. So surely you weren't pitch side at Old Trafford.
By pitch side, I mean past like the barriers and everything.
Still going in Old Trafford.
Wrong. It was the Emirates.
Okay. Well, when did
I'd be arrested if I got pitch side near the Emirates because I start pissing on the pitch or something like that.
You probably would. You probably would. Bloody hell! Now I have to think about 2 truths, 1 lie.
How many gooners are here just talking about party? I've just noticed this.
I don't know. There he is. He's back.
Let's start.
I don't know what is going on in my house, but the Wi-Fi is dreadful. I'm on my phone.
I made up a 3rd story for you. We said the 3rd one is, and you have shit internet. So that the 1 truth's out the way already. So, you know.
Do you want to know what the other one is?
Yeah.
Might as well.
Well, I think you know. What are you bloody throwing at me? Oh, pair of socks. Lovely. Oh, that's what you like. I met Zidane. That's the other truth.
Yeah, I thought that was the truth.
And I tear the arse out of it all the time.
I've just quickly got to make something up myself because I really haven't really thought about this now. So, let's see. I prefer John Terry to Frank Lampard. I have met Didier Drogba. And I have met Eden Hazard. So, do your best, boys.
I think Drogba's the lie.
I don't think you've met Drogba. I think you've met Hazard on the pre-season tour, but I don't think you've met Drogba.
Well, actually, you both got it wrong because
Damn.
I didn't meet Hazard because the guy was still at the bloody Euros at the time, or still on holiday after the Euros when the guys were on pre-season.
Oh, I thought you were just seeing him in the cars after the games or something.
No, I've never really done that. I don't know why. Like, I don't know where I always am when people drive past. I've always missed that every time. And Drogba I met when Ivory Coast played Austria in my town. That's when I met Drogba.
Oh, that's cool.
Years and years and years ago. Yeah, decent.
Cool.
So
Lewis is dying.
yeah, Lewis is dying. Let's hope he doesn't have a certain something, which, we want to be monetized here, so we're not going to mention that. So let's talk about what's actually happening. A lot of Arsenal fans thinking it's absolutely hilarious, the fact that they have signed Thomas Partey. I mean, I personally wouldn't have minded Thomas Partey simply because of how cheap he would have been compared to Declan Rice. Or would I have been out there and saying, I want Thomas Partey because he's the solution to all our problems? Because he isn't really a DM either. I believe that he could have been turned into one, because right now he's probably rather similar to Kante, if we, honest with ourselves, just not quite as good. But it's still disappointing that we didn't sign either, because it sure did seem like Frank Lampard wanted ADM. I personally was never a fan of the fact, okay, if we get one, we sell Jorginho. I'm like, why? We play a 4-2-3-1 seemingly most games now, and we only have 3 players there. It wouldn't be bad to have 4 players for those 2 positions anyway. Yes, we have Billy Gilmour coming back, but we should have just loaned him out in January. Would have made way more sense for me. But yeah, boys, what do you think? No Rice, no Partey. Good, bad, concerned that we don't have a new DM, or doesn't really matter that much?
I think it was pretty much to be expected. I think with the amount of effort we put into our forward line, especially over the summer, realistically, I think that the long-term future for Chelsea is to have someone that can play a defensive midfield role by themselves. Almost the same way that Matic allowed Fabregas to go and be so forward-thinking, and you want someone that's almost like I suppose a brute almost. It is kind of the perfect word. It's got a bit of technical ability themselves. Declan Rice, I think, is the perfect person for that, but the price tag was just way too high. Thomas Partey, again, I'm with you. I'd have quite liked him. The price tag, again, was a big factor in that. But realistically, is he going to be the long-term future for Chelsea? I'm not too sure. So, are you paying £50 million for a player that's going to do it for a couple of years, then hopefully, you sell on after a little while? Or do you wait until the summer and go, look, Declan Rice is here and available, or even until January, to be fair, Declan Rice is here and available and we can take him up? So I think the long-term future would not have been at Chelsea with Thomas Partey. But having said that, look, if we could have brought him, and kind of same thing with Kovacic, I think a lot of people, obviously, when we took him on loan, didn't think he was going to be able to do as much as he probably has, to be fair, for Chelsea. I don't know. I think it would have been, that's one of those gambles that if it was there and available on the cards, ready to go, I think a lot of people go, well, we maybe should consider this. But yeah, no, I just think it's a very strange move for Chelsea to not even express an interest is slightly baffling to me.
Yeah, and Lewis, yourself, other than being probably very triggered at the fact that Arsenal are signing him.
Someone's having a good reaction as well.
Yeah,
but yeah, I'll echo a lot of what Ian said. What was it? The thing that I like about this is that Lampard is stuck on who he wants his number 1 to be, and the club are backing it. And they're not going for anyone else who doesn't really fit the profile of what the manager wants, because we've done that before with Conte and Sarri, and that's why we've got so many random players that don't fit in the team and that we can't get rid of. That's half the reason why. So I wouldn't mind us bringing in Partey, but that's just me thinking we're bank card FC and we can just tap the card on anything and get wherever we want. I'd take him if he's there. If not, I'm not going to start complaining. This is the best window we've had in years. There's a hole in our midfield without a proper DM, okay, but I feel like we can still plug it for the season. Like Kante can play there, Kovacic can play there. If we have to, we can drop Reece James in there as well, maybe as a DM. He has played in that role before. So, not the end of the world. Arsenal are getting a decent player, but their midfield is such a state right now. He's going to look like one of the best midfielders in there anyway. And I still think they lack creativity anyway, so I don't even mean too much. I'd like to see us do a Willian, but again, only if we're bank card FC and we're just taking a mick.
it would be hilarious if we did another Willian. You know, let's be honest, like that would be kind of partly why all of us will be a fan of it, just to piss Arsenal fans off. You know, it would make it even.
We just need to change a few words in the Willian chant and we're sorted.
Yeah,
Exactly.
we can work around that.
Yeah, but in general, I agree with both of you guys. I mean, for me, like I said, it seems like we're going to play 4-2-3-1 most of the time. I'm sure we'll throw a cheeky little 3-4-3 or a 4-3-3 in there at times this season. But I'm hoping and praying that Lampard is going to at least start sticking to one system more often than not. And that at the moment seems to be 4-2-3-1. And yeah, I wouldn't have minded an extra player in there, but Lewis made a good shout. Could put Reece James into there, especially if Aspie's kind of doing almost better than expected at right back, and then you don't want to leave Reece James out just because Aspie's playing. Put him into midfield. Why not? Jorginho, for me, you guys know I'm a big fan of him. Everyone knows, depending on the opponent, he can be incredible, and depending on the opponent, he can be a weakness. We know that he's weak physically, and we know that he's slow. But I don't think there's any debate in that. His reading of the game is incredible. Sometimes he maybe doesn't have the legs to get there, even if he's read it. But, you know, he's still got incredible interceptions. You know, the stats, to some extent, don't lie. He's got some of the highest interception rates in the Premier League, whether he's slow or not. And he does it very differently to Kante. But if you just stand in the right spot, you know, that's more than half of the job done. So I think there's still something possible. We need to just work around things. And now that we are in this situation with the players, you know, Lampard also, it's his job, it's the manager's job to find the best solution with the players we have at hand, not just cry all season, I wish I had a better DM. Make what we have work and do the best that we can. And, you know, if that's Jorginho, if that's Kante, if that's Kovacic, let's see that we can make that work the best way possible. It does sure seem like right now that Ruben Loftus-Cheek has or is about to go out on loan to Fulham. You guys know, the viewers know, maybe you two know as well. He's my favourite Chelsea player. And I'm very saddened by this. I mean, only, 18 months ago, man was scoring goals in Europa League semi-finals, you know, being our second best player that season behind Eden Hazard, in my opinion, at least in the second part of the season when he wasn't injured so much. And
that's stupid friendly.
That stupid friendly, as much as it was for a good cause, really couldn't have
the wrong damn time.
Yeah, it was the wrong damn time. And then this stoppage of football, just as he was about to come back, that meant no preseason. He was the guy that if anyone needed preseason, it was him. And now we're in the situation where I'm like, I mean, don't make him get relegated, which there's a good chance he will with Fulham. But it's still regular Premier League football. If he can stay fit and can play most of this season, I'm not going to quite give up my hope that we can still see him at Chelsea and can still see him flourish at Chelsea if he just gets a season, pardon me, of proper first-team football under his belt. What do you guys think? Let's start with Lewis, I guess.
This is a great move for him. He don't even need to move too far. And yeah, he'll be one of the best players in the squad. He'll have enough game time there to actually start getting back into the flow of things, which is what he's really struggled with. All in all, we've just needed to find a club for him. I was wanting him to go to Aston Villa, but like that's gone now. He's going to Fulham. Right, they're just a mess right now. And to be honest, I think Ruben Loftus-Cheek walks into that squad. So yeah, it's a great move for him.
I agree to some extent, other than the fact that I'm still sad and I would have loved to see him at a little bit of a higher Premier League club. Like, I would have rather seen him at West Ham, you know. Not that that's so much better than Fulham, but I still feel like
worse kit, though.
True, Fulham have an absolute banger of a kit, but, you know, Fulham are, in my opinion, nearly set on relegation. West Ham have had a great result this weekend, and, you know,
but Ruben Loftus-Cheek is going to carry them out.
He might do. You never know. They might need to send us, you know, a couple of P's extra over if he keeps them up in it. But Ian, what do you think?
I know you love him. You love him. I don't necessarily. I like him. I know. I like him. I just have this worry about his injuries. I just think it's going to be one of those things that, you know, comes back and comes back and comes back. I'm just alarmed by it, you know, about the injury concerns. And I think Fulham, you know, decent move for him. You know, as we said, it's up the road, you know, literally. You know, it's up the road. It's not too far. You know, it's going to get regular time. Is he necessarily going to get regular time? You know,
I mean, you think so?
one of Fulham's best players and their captain is Tom Kearney, who plays in the number 10 role. Is he going to battle out Tom Kearney? I don't think so.
I don't know what formation they play. Do they play a 4-3-3? Do they play a 4-2-3-1? I don't know.
I think it really depends on where Loftus-Cheek sees himself. Does he see himself playing on the left-hand side wide? As you know, he was kind of deployed against was it Aston Villa the first game back after the restart?
Yeah.
And also apparently in that friendly against QPR, he played on the left-hand side of the midfield three. I think it was against Brighton earlier on in the season. I think
no, the friendly in the game in the league game.
Yeah.
It was at a 10.
Yeah. I don't quite know where he sees himself, and only he knows. It's really interesting to see where he would see himself, because the only place I could really see him fitting in would be on the left-hand side, and I don't think that's his best position. I think, I agree with you two. I think he's a central midfielder. I actually think if he worked hard, his best position would probably be centre defensive midfield. But I think he wants to go forward and do the attacking work a bit more than he wants to do the defensive work. So I don't want him sitting on the bench doing nothing. That's the bottom line of it. I don't want him sitting on the bench doing nothing at Chelsea. If you can shift half of the wage or so elsewhere, he gets some more minutes than he's going to get at Chelsea. Look, he could prove me wrong. He could absolutely go and have an absolutely breakout season. He could go and push Tom Kearney maybe out wide or out the team completely. Who knows? I just can't see it happening, I must be honest. So, yeah, go out on loan. If it's to Fulham, it's only up the road, yeah. Premier League club, yeah, of course, great. But is it the long-term solution? This is what I think is going to be I'm going to say this a few times in this live stream, is what is the long-term solution for Chelsea? Do I see Loftus-Cheek being part of our plans in 3 years' time? I must be honest, no. Being real. Yeah. So, are you loaning him to a club that particularly... I know it's slightly heartbreaking, but are you loaning him to a club that he's just going to get some minutes, then go for it and have a laugh kind of thing? Or are we going to loan him to someone that could potentially actually at the end of it go, yeah, we'll pay 25, 30 million quid for this guy?
I mean, for me personally, and, everyone's fair to disagree to some extent, I think ability-wise, other than now possibly rivaled by Havertz and Pulisic, I think he's clear of everyone, like clear of Hudson-Odoi, clear of the lot of them. People might disagree, and the problem is he's about to turn 25. But I think simply ability-wise, and the fact that he is so good on the ball while being so big and still being so fast, that's not a combination that is seen very often in football. Like, people compare him to Yaya Toure. Yaya Toure wasn't quite that good on the ball. Yaya Toure was an absolute bust, like walking through midfield. Like, you didn't have to park it. He was just running it himself. But Ruben has that sleekness that just very few players have, and none of his height and size do. So that's why I think he could have been something very special, but that very size is probably why he had so many back problems. Okay, the Achilles happened. That's a very unfortunate one. That's not saying he's injury prone. That's just unlucky. But the back problems are certainly a problem, and probably his height are part of the reason. He did, during Sarri's spell here, with doing yoga and whatever else with physios, seem to have found solutions to his back problems. That's what he said in interviews. You never know whether that would have worked long term. But maybe he would have done. And maybe then things would have just been very different. And, in my opinion, if he doesn't have that injury, he's one of the first names on the team sheet right now. But, it wasn't to be like that. I hope his loan to Fulham goes well. Personally, I'd be very surprised. Why would you loan out Ruben Loftus-Cheek if you're going to play him on the left wing? That makes no sense. I don't think Fulham will be doing that. And, I see him as an 8 more so than as a 10 and more so than as a 6. But like I said, I have no idea about what system Fulham deploy. So whether he could play with Kearney or not, or whatever else. Like, if they play a 4-3-3, it could just be both of them. Derby played 2 so why not? But yeah, I guess that's that. A couple of other things that we need to probably mention is the Rüdiger Tomori situation. Rüdiger, doesn't seem like we found anyone to sell him to or loan him to, because, there was Spurs interested, but I wouldn't have been a fan of that. There was PSG interest, as Roma. Apparently even...
Is Everton interested? Because I know they're interested in Tomori.
No, yeah. I think in Tomori, but not in Rüdiger as far as I'm aware.
Very quickly on the topic of Tomori, as I've just seen a tweet come up on here from a very reliable source. Tomori to West Ham is progressing forwards.
Exactly.
They're getting Rice the other way. They want Emerson too. I want to see a little deal. Throw in. No, you can't throw in Barkley anymore. Throw in Alonso as well, 2 for the price of 1.
Give them Ruben. Suits them better than Fulham, in my opinion. But
yes.
But here we are. Like that's what I was alluding to. We didn't manage to get rid of Rüdiger, and now it seems like Tomori might actually end up going on loan, even though we already rejected loan offers for him by Everton. Then you're kind of like, as much as Chelsea were brilliant this transfer window, if we're rejecting loan moves by Everton for him and then ending up loaning him to West Ham, well, that was a shot in the foot. Like, that was stupid. He could have improved drastically at Everton, who at this point look like less than bloody 2016. Do you know what I mean?
But would he play now? That's the thing.
It's true. Would he play over Mina or Michael Keane? I reckon he's significantly better than Michael Keane, but Ancelotti might disagree. And yeah, you're absolutely right. He might not be playing, and then West Ham is the better deal. But is that the right thing to do, you reckon? We didn't get rid of Rüdiger, so we have to loan out someone. So I guess use Tomori for him to develop more with more game time.
Just wish we could loan Rüdiger out. That would be the more preferred option for me.
I have to say, when Thiago Silva first came in, I was slightly looking forward to the possibility that you might see a combination of Thiago Silva and Rüdiger every now and again. It's not the way forward. It's not the long-term solution, but neither is Thiago Silva. So, maybe you could have maybe that could have an impact somewhere. I think we all pretty much agree as our first choice pairing is Thiago Silva and Zuma, I assume.
Yeah.
I think a lot. I think ideally, let's get rid of Zuma. let's get rid of Zuma. Get rid of Rüdiger. But realistically, is it going to happen? No. It's a big wage compared to Tomori's. Yes, Tomori goes out on loan. He gets a little bit of experience. If he doesn't play, the other team, not necessarily on our point of view, but the other team, if they don't play, you go, oh, okay, well, I suppose it is what it is. But if you loan Rüdiger, maybe you've got that pressure to play him a little bit more. So I don't know. There's also a big element of, are we going to let Tomori go to the right club? And that actually would go, do you know what? If it's not the right thing, let's not play him. Is that going to happen where Rüdiger might get thrown under the bus? Just, there you are, mate. You're going for that. I think that's one of the positives about Tomori. Is if he goes on loan, if he's not the right person, he won't play. He won't get dragged down by a load of crap. Where Rüdiger, if you're paying such a high wage for him, even if he is only on loan, there is that pressure to play him. So the value of the player could decrease.
Yeah, I don't disagree. I think, for me, it was always a case of, I don't think Rüdiger is significantly worse than Zuma or Christensen. I just think he's older than both of them. He's pretty much in his prime. What is he, 26, 27 now? So he's in his prime. He's not going to get better than he is now. Zuma and Christensen still could very much still get better because of their age. So if I had the choice of getting rid of any of the three, it was always going to be Rüdiger for me. But with the current financial situation in world football, we didn't manage to sell him permanently and didn't even seem to have found anyone to loan him to. So, it is what it is. And I guess try to make the best out of it, give Tomori a loan deal, help him improve. Won't really affect our performance drastically this season, whether we have Rüdiger or Tomori as a fourth choice centre-back. Doesn't really change much. So, if he can improve and then next summer we sell Rüdiger and then we get Tomori back in, I guess that works out well. I haven't even mentioned that, guys. First of all, check out these two guys' links down in the description. Subscribe to Carefree Lewis G and to Craigo28 Football. And of course, subscribe to myself. If you're new here, there's 77 people watching right now. So make sure you subscribe if you haven't already. And also, all of you, make sure you drop a like. And also, if you can hear a helicopter in the background, I apologize. As I've said in many a live stream, I live right across the hospital. It's what happens. Even though I'm baffled by the fact that they're flying at night. How does he see anything? What? Don't understand. But, fair enough. A couple of other players that we probably should talk about. My personal favorite thing to talk about. How on earth did Marcos Alonso stay at Chelsea for another transfer window? Please explain. Someone, please.
He's a new Willian, man. Just can't beat this guy. Lampard
wasn't that bad
anymore. It's because of, it's because of that giant valuation fee. Because it's the same thing with Emerson. Inter wanted him, but they weren't going to pay 25 million for him. Same thing with Juventus, and they've cancelled the deal because of that. We got to wait till the market kind of stabilizes a bit more, then we can get rid of them, because we're not selling them without getting some sort of money back. And that's been the case for all of them. It means that we're stuck with all of these players, but same way, they're only eventually going to leave for profit.
Yeah, my only problem with that situation is surely still loan one of them out. And if they have a decent loan, their value, if anything, only increases rather than keeping them at the club this season. And Alonso still has 4 years left on his contract anyway. So three or three?
4 years.
I think he extended it when Sarri was here. So 3 years left. So even if he was on loan,
paying for our mistakes over the last 3 years. That's what the problem is.
It's true. But what I'm saying is, if we just went out on loan now, if anything, his value could have gone up, and we could have arguably sold him for more next summer, where the financial situation is better again. So if there was anyone in for loan, for him on loan, which apparently Inter were, we just refused it. I'm baffled by that. I'm genuinely baffled by that. I know we need to make
the price was too much for even the loan deal. Because remember Ross Barkley, he's gone to Villa for 11 million on loan, right?
Has he?
Yeah, it's 11 million. We got him for 15 million. You see the type of business we're trying to do?
Well, but somehow we managed it for Barkley. We're just baffling, but incredible.
Marina. It's always Marina.
Get that statue outside.
Yeah. Damn right. I don't even mind if she's stingy.
I only want her having a statue once Alonso is gone.
It works.
Only once Alonso is gone, I want her to have a statue. Not
try to get Emerson in the deal as well. They're both trash.
To be fair, we were saying about Rüdiger potentially, next season moving on, if he were to go and have a good season on loan or whatever. Also next year now, you've got the Euros. If Rüdiger plays well at the Euros and someone actually goes, well, Christ, we need a centre-half, Rüdiger could move on. Emerson, again, same thing. He's very, very likely to be in the Italian national team squad. Yeah. If he has a decent tournament, then people need a left-back. He could be on the move. Marcos Alonso doesn't necessarily have that because he's highly unlikely to get into the Spain squad because they don't really play that system. And
have plenty of other good left backs.
But they got to play regularly to get in the team.
I think Emerson maybe a little bit less. I think.
Yeah, Emerson never really played all that regularly, and he's still always in Italy squad. So
yeah, you just know what you're getting, don't you?
Although he is their starting left back more often than not, and he always does well for them. So fair play.
Yeah.
When he's fit, I mean, I still think Emerson is a decent enough left back. If the guy ever got get regular game time, which he never got, other than for a certain period on the Sarri, and then I thought we had a decent left back. Then I think he's the best left back in the world. No, but he was a decent enough left back.
I'll be real. I thought he was trash even when we played him. He only played because Alonso was just that bad whenever he played. But I still thought Emerson was a bit tragic.
No.
Good in the Europa League final, fair play. But other than that, bruv, I've wanted a new left back for so long.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying he should be our starting left back by any means, but I think Emerson as a second choice left back, I'd be okay with that. He can hold possession. He's all right. But Alonso, not for me personally. But here we are, paying wages over wages over wages. Thankfully, Roma's got the money, and I guess that's that situation. One thing I do want to ask you, I read somewhere by Carefree Youth, maybe one of these guys that usually do know their stuff when they talk about Chelsea, right? They said one last season's loanee will stay at the club this year. Who do you think that's going to be? Because I mean, Bakayoko just went out on loan again to Napoli. That's pretty much, I think that's officially
done.
Well, as done as you can be without official, I think. There is Drinkwater still here. Moses hasn't officially left.
I was good. Moses is the one that sprung to my mind.
Yeah. Although the only thing I can say is I read by Fabrizio Romano that once the Alonso negotiations broke down, they were going to try again for Moses, but I don't know. But who do you think that one loan is going to be? Moses? Possibly. Surely it can't be Drinkwater.
I think it's good.
Another Moses redemption season. Can't wait.
I think it'll be Moses.
Probably. I reckon he must.
To be fair, we've got obviously today is the end of the international window, and from who we can bring in from the Premier League and top leagues in Europe. But there is still another week to go or so for the internal window, isn't there?
For Championship and whatever else, yeah.
Yeah. You could see, I don't think it'll be Moses, but you could see the likes of a Drinkwater going on loan to the Championship. You could see people like that. Because, yes, I get that
we'd have to pay all their wages, though.
Yeah, they're probably on decent wages, to be fair, but
Drinkwater's on 100k, I think.
Yeah. But again, if we're paying half of that, which is kind of standard enough with a loan move, that we pay
I think more 3/4.
Can anyone in the Championship afford even 25k a week though for Danny Drinkwater? Now that Leeds aren't there anymore, who were always the biggest cash team in the Championship.
Not Forest, someone like that. There's a couple of big teams in there.
Forest need it. I've had an awful start to the season, so you never know. Fabrizio apparently confirmed Ruben to Fulham. Bakayoko is official, and the Italian window has apparently now closed. So, any hope for Moses possibly still going to Inter? That seems to be out the door. There is still, I think, a day left, for example, for the Dutch window. So there's currently talk about Van Ginkel going back to PSV tomorrow because they have until tomorrow midnight. And I don't know the exact dates for every league. Everyone has slightly different, numbers, which to me makes zero sense. Can't we just agree on one date and just stick to that? It's absolute.
Why did we have to be the first one to switch?
But now we're all at the same, at least back to it, I guess. But 2 years ago we tried to just do it before the season, which is a good idea. But we were just made to be looking like mugs, but when no one else doing it. So I guess that was a problem. But I'm starting to run out of players that I want to talk about. Do you guys have anyone that you want to mention? Why is he still here? Why didn't we sign them? Or at the end of the day, should we just be happy with the transfer window?
I can't really think of anyone else but the left backs. Barkley's gone on loan now, so I'm done.
I'll still ask the question of, Callum Hudson-Odoi, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen now. But I said it before. I said it in a tweet. I think he's got a price. I think everyone's got an asking price. And if someone were to meet that price, it looks like it's going to have to be Bayern Munich. Would you let him go? And would you bring in someone else?
Me, if a club like Bayern Munich, which is arguably the best run club in the world, if they offer you even more than they already did with 70 million, that in itself tells you maybe don't sell him because it's probably quite good. I think, if that kind of club comes in for him, that's probably the situation. I would have never been happy if we loaned him or sold him now, because I'm we only have 3 wingers as it is, which arguably, in my opinion, isn't actually enough, because we've seen Werner on the wing now. It's enough. I would put him up front. We've seen that. We've tried it. Doesn't work. So Werner up front it is.
I'm not fussed by it.
Exactly. And Mount can do a job now and again. He's at least it helps us press from further up the pitch and Mount plays out wide. But still, essentially, we only have 3 actual wingers. And Ziyech is only a half winger. He's arguably more of a 10 than he is a winger, but he's going to have to play on the right.
Completely agree.
Exactly. So, it would have been crazy to let Hudson-Odoi go. For me, we'll have to wait and see how he develops. But, if he doesn't get better, say, until next summer or the summer after, eventually Bayern Munich wouldn't pay the crazy money anymore. So I guess it kind of goes hand in hand. Either he improves enough that he'll be good enough for us anyway, or he doesn't, and then people won't be paying the crazy money anymore anyway. So
I think the argument I would have, and the question I would have for you guys, is obviously we've still got another week of the internal transfer window. If someone, say, from Brentford, who was a wide player, potentially expressed an interest in joining a Premier League club, would you or would you not take that deal?
I would. I think we need a
run.
Yeah, whether Hudson-Odoi stays or not is completely relevant to the fact that I want another winger.
Yeah, I agree.
I want Benrahma causing chaos.
I agree.
Yeah.
Sorry, go on. I think he's been vastly overlooked this year, honestly.
For sure.
Yeah, I'm surprised he hasn't gone yet.
Genuinely, I think if it's a normal summer, he definitely has his Premier League move already. But because of the financial situation, that's the only reason why he's still there. But for me, especially now that Ruben...
Yeah, that's why.
I guess so. But I guess because Ruben and Barkley have gone out on loan now, even Mount as a winger isn't that much of an option anymore because you need him as that rotational player with Kai anyway. Like, those two are the only real number 10s we have now. So you can't even see Mount as a regular winger option because he will have to be used as a 10 or 8 more. So that even more so suggests we kind of just need a winger here. So if that was to happen, Ian, I'd be bloody happy. Personally, doubt it though. Tom McNamara said Benrahma has big attitude problems. That's why. I mean, fair enough. But, if he wants to have attitude problems on our bench, have fun,
Lampard will shut it down real quick.
I think it's very similar to what's happened with Thiago Silva. I don't know if you saw that the interview he did. I think it was with BBC actually, where he said, you get to players get to points in their life. If you say to them, "Do you want to go and play for this big club?" You say yes. And Chelsea is one of those clubs. I think, but if you say to Benrahma, "Look, we're going to play Champions League football. We're in the Champions League. You're currently playing for Brentford in the Championship. This isn't jumping up one level. This is jumping up 2,
if not 3.
I think you've got to make the most of it. Honestly, I think you've got to make the most of the opportunity. And I don't know about attitude problems. That's the first I've heard of it, honestly.
Yeah, same.
But I think, same way I said about Lewis Dunk for a while, I'm a really big fan of him. I think if you say to him, "Look, we're going to play in the Champions League, mate. We're going to play in the Champions League. You're currently, mid-table Premier League, doing all right, but when the big clubs come calling, this is what you're remembered for." I think a lot of people would push through certain deals, and I actually think there's a lot of players in England, not necessarily only in the Premier League, but also in the Championship as well, that do get vastly overlooked because you do want to play for these big clubs, and especially with Benrahma. Brentford are not a big club; they'll accept that. I just think it's a really good opportunity for him. The same with us, Arsenal, Tottenham, whoever it is, to play European football. It is an absolutely huge deal. A huge deal.
For sure. I don't think it's a case of he wouldn't want to. I don't think that's the problem. It's just a question of the money that Brentford would probably ask for him. Would we think that's worth it to pay for someone that would be our 4th choice winger? I think that's the only reason why people haven't signed him. Because he wouldn't play ahead of Pulisic here or Hudson-Odoi. And then would you want to pay whatever they're asking for a 4th choice winger? That's kind of the only problem. A couple of people in the chat still saying, will we get Rice? Well, very, very unlikely. Let's just say
this year. Not
and
this year.
Summit Garg said, Lucas Piazon, oh my God, we still have him, man. No, we don't. He actually plays on loan for Rio Ave, who were knocked out in the last stages of the Europa League qualifiers against AC Milan on a penalty shootout that lasted like 11 penalties, 12 penalties. But he took one in that and he scored.
Did you see the commentary of that game?
It was hilarious. I love
brilliant, wasn't it? It was brilliant.
I've seen some other names here. Masunda. What happened to him?
I mean, he had bad injury, I think, at Vitesse last year, didn't he? And then he kind of came back to recover, and even that didn't work, and no one really knows what's happening. But I'm going to put one out there. We already spoke about left backs. We have Ben Chilwell. We have Emerson. We have Marcos Alonso. But you know what, guys? Don't say it. He's still on the books of Chelsea. We haven't loaned him out anywhere. Papa bloody Rahman. Do you remember that cross?
Redemption season.
Do you remember that cross away at Bournemouth when he put a cross over the stadium? I mean, I know they have a small stadium, but still, he put the cross over the stadium behind the goal. How bad? Yeah, how bad can a cross be? Do you know what I mean? Like if you shoot,
dude just got licked.
Shove that up your jumper. That's £100.
Honestly, it's baffling. Like, how on earth can Baba Rahman still be here? I still don't know to this day why we ever signed him, to be honest.
No, I don't
where did we sign him from at the time? Augsburg or something?
I think so, yeah.
Is it Schalke?
No, we loaned him to Schalke. No, we loaned him to Schalke.
Oh, did we loan it? Oh, okay.
We loaned him to Schalke. Unless we signed him from there and loaned it back. That might be the case as well. But I feel like it was Augsburg. I don't remember.
I don't imagine that you would take him back.
No, probably not. Although Schalke would probably take anyone. They have lost, I think, their last 20 games in a row. Like, it's mental. They really are useless.
I can't believe they stayed up.
Well, yeah, because they had a decent first half of the season and it was just enough, I guess. But they've lost every game so far, including 8-0 to Bayern, which, I know a lot of teams concede a lot of goals against Bayern, but the last 2 games showed you that actually not everyone does, because they lost to Hoffenheim and only just about scraped the 4-3 win against Berlin last night.
That sounds about right, yeah.
Yeah. And with obviously Lewandowski scoring 4 goals, because as you do. Any exit option for Drinkwater? RC asked. Well, no. I mean, probably yes, someone, but I thought it was quite interesting. Did any of you guys read his interview with Matt Law a couple of weeks ago?
No, I can't say that I would waste my time.
He's saying about Sarri giving him 1 day to find a club.
Yeah. Oh no, an hour. I think an hour. An hour before the transfer window shut, they told him, I mean, you can go on loan if you want, or you can leave. It's a bit unlucky. But, he had a lot of excuses for things, but he had a lot of things where just got unlucky for a lot of things. You never know. Do you believe his story of that whole fight in the bar? Do you believe the other guy's story? You never know. But, he posted on Instagram a few weeks ago, it's a difficult situation. I know I'm not going to be at Chelsea. We all wish it would have gone better, but, I also like to change. Well, still, so far there's no change because you just keep headbutting your teammates in training. Maybe don't do that and people would want you on loan. But Henry Una said, where is Marco van Ginkel? Well, here, obviously. But no, apparently he's going to PSV on loan tomorrow. So don't know if that's happening. But
apparently, from what I'm hearing, that's done.
Oh, is it? Okay. That's honestly
not confirmed, but basically done, yeah.
I feel so bad for the guy. He hasn't played football in 2 years.
No,
the guy had such a bad injury. And if that ACL went at, what was it, Shrewsbury?
Yeah.
Swindon, one of the two.
Yeah,
when he did his ACL, the guy probably would be a midfield star for us right now. Chances are, it's crazy. It's genuinely crazy how that went for him. And someone said thoughts on Cavani to United, Lewis.
Oh, square face.
Oh, it's all like Thiago Silva. He barely started for PSG last season, right?
They didn't even give him a contract extension for after lockdown.
Yeah.
Wow.
For the Champions League, basically.
It's not the same. He's going to be washed.
Yeah.
On massive wages, too.
He hasn't played football since March.
I think he's got a point to prove, kind of thing. I do think he'll be decent. I think slightly different to you. I do think he's going to be decent. Like the way that Ibrahimovic was when he came in, just rallies up people. But one thing I will say, he looks like he's an animal when he's on the pitch. He's really aggressive, and all the pictures you see, he's a really nice, luscious footballer. But when he needs to fight, he fights. But apparently, he is one of the nicest guys in football. And I don't necessarily know if Man United need another nice guy.
It'd be great match with Jesse Lingard, though. So that's great.
Yeah,
it's good for the TikTok.
They might do dances together.
Might do. Yeah, it's a weird one. It could be another Falcao, it could be another Ibrahimovic. Literally, I think the Goldbridge tweet that there's literally no in between. It's got to be either one of those two. He's going to be a huge flop or a huge success. It's genuinely one of the two. Someone put a decent question in the chat, actually. Why would we go for Rice if we have Ampadu? Discuss.
Bigger.
Other than that?
More experienced.
Okay.
Better attacking.
Okay. But is it worth 70 million, those 3 things you just mentioned?
No, he's worth 50 million quid.
No, that's why we haven't gone for him yet. If we thought he was worth 70 million, we would have just paid it.
Exactly. True. Chelsea know there's a problem with our defensive midfield and our defensive unit as a whole. The problem is with Frank is, I think the problem is we don't know where people want Rice to play. Where I want him to play is centre midfield or defensive midfield. But where a lot of people are apparently rumours of flying around is that we want him to be a centre half. If you're paying 80 million quid, you want a proper centre half. You don't want someone that could be a centre half.
See, go on, finish.
No, I look at it. If you're paying that big money, you've got to buy the guy that's in that position. If you pay 50 million for Rice and he's a decent option at centre midfield, and then he's a decent option at the back, then great. That's fine. That's great. But I would not be willing to pay 80 million quid to go and get Declan Rice to use him as a centre half when he's only played centre half on 2 or 3 occasions. That's just madness.
To me, the whole Declan Rice thing is a very interesting one because I don't actually think he's... Well,
Say it.
I
Go
don't-
on, say it. You say
No,
it.
no, no.
Say it.
I
You were
don't
gonna
think
say
he's
you don't
the
think he's that
solution to
good.
our DM problems because I'm like, you couldn't find a team that plays more differently to Chelsea than West Ham. No, like no one has actually seen whether he does what we need a DM to do. Our DMs aren't there to just tackle and hit long balls, which West Ham's DMs do. That's closer to what our centre backs do, which is probably why Lampard thinks could be a decent centre back for us. But as a DM, it's like, well, is he the solution for me? If we sign Declan Rice now, which we won't, but if we did, I always thought, okay, he'd probably be our DM solution for a season or two, and eventually we'll turn him into a centre back. That's what I thought would be the case. Whoever we'd find for DM long term, then, because there's a reason the club let him go. There's a reason for that. And, am I saying he's bad at all? No, not by any means. But I just think he could actually be closer to Chelsea ability, what I'd be hoping for at centre-back than at DM. I could be alone with that opinion, but that's why I thought all along, because I'm like, it's West Ham still. I know he's 21, but he still played there for 3 seasons. Like, we know what he's like.
What'd you make, Lewis?
Sorry. Say that last part again because I've been trying to clear my throat.
Basically, just for me, Rice is closer to Chelsea quality at centre back in the future than he's at DM in the future. Just because is that kind of DM really what we need? A strong, tall, like physical guy? Do we need like another Matic?
Point, yeah.
Better on the ball, but another Matic?
We don't really have someone who fits that profile.
But do we need that? Do Liverpool have
so.
that? Do Man City have that?
Yes.
Bayern Munich have that?
We leave too much space in the middle. That's the thing.
But is that solved by getting a big, tall guy, or is that solved by players being more disciplined? Because Bayern Munich don't have that.
They have Goretzka.
Pardon?
They have Goretzka.
Yeah, but he's not a DM. He's an 8.
Yeah, well, that's because they're so attacking. That depends on where you want to play Declan Rice. That's the thing.
I mean, yeah.
I think we do need the height. Fabinho, Liverpool, Goretzka. You could name a few others. Even to be fair,
okay, yeah, but they don't have Havertz playing as their 10, who's tall. So, like, if you're talking height in the team,
am I allowed to swear on this, Laurenz?
yes.
Havertz is fucking skinny, bruv. He's fucking skinny. Is he going to win you a header at the back post and break play up with his head in the middle of the park? I don't think so.
I think his strength's underrated. I can't lie.
Yeah, I agree.
I think he's really good at clearing corners already. I love it. He's better than anyone we've had in a long time at heading those near post corners away. Brilliant against Palace. I love that.
Yeah.
I love that.
Would he go up against the likes of a Van Dijk? No.
Yeah, but neither does
who is.
Or Tammy. So who goes up against Van Dijk? Do you know what I mean?
Giroud don't because he can't keep up with him. Tammy is weak as shit.
Yeah.
So
Declan Rice though? I mean, it's easy to say now, but yeah. No, I mean, I get what you're saying. I just always thought, like, I think the first time I heard about this whole Declan Rice was when Lewis and myself were on the podcast with Alex Goldberg, and he said Lampard actually sees him as more of a centre back because he sees a bit of John Terry in him. I was like, I can actually see that because if you're a DM for West Ham, like I said already, that's probably closer to what our centre backs do than what our DMs do, just because they're a very different team that aren't anywhere near as attacking as we are.
Sit that far back.
Exactly. So I thought, okay, that makes sense to some extent. Then we heard, okay, we need a DM with one Rice. I'm like, okay, have him as a DM for a season or two, then blood him in at centre back once, like, for example, Thiago Silva's gone or whatever else. And, then we see whoever else is available on the market. We see what happened to Ampadu. We see what happened to Billy Gilmore, what we need as a DM, and we can still strengthen it. That was my thinking. Let's see whether it happens now or not. And, I guess we just have to go from there.
I think Declan Rice, I really want him at Chelsea. I'm not going to lie. But he's got his price, as everyone does. I ain't paying 8 million quid for him, no chance. But 50 million quid, we were all prepared to have Jorginho sitting on the bench at 50 million quid. We were all prepared to do that. We're prepared to now have Kepa sitting on the bench at 70 million quid. Obviously, that's not by choice, but, that's just an unfortunate situation. You bring in Declan Rice at 50 million quid. if he doesn't quite work out as a centre half, or he fills in for a couple of games here and there at centre half, and maybe he's not quite the same player as he thought he might be at centre half, you've still got a £50 million defensive midfielder because he's young, he's got the ability, he's also English as well, so you have to pay a little bit more of a premium for him. But yeah, no, it's a decent option. But what I just don't want to see is Chelsea pay 80 million quid for a guy that we think might play two positions, that then all of a sudden becomes only a one-trick pony and plays centre midfield, and maybe doesn't even do it that well.
I could not agree more. And I think we can all agree and all know that that's probably why we didn't sign him until now. Obviously, I'm seeing a couple of questions that come up in the chat. I will get to a couple of more questions from the chat just to finish it off. At the end of the day, just your guys' thoughts in general on the transfer window, because I didn't expect this going into the window. We already signed Ziyech back in February. Then we signed Timo Werner while the Premier League season was still going on. Then we had them come in for training. We had the whole Kai Havertz thing. It was happening. He's liking the tweet, announced Kai or whatever else, like months ago. We get that done. We get Ben Chilwell done. He has one of the best left-back debuts you'll see in the Premier League. We get Thiago Silva on a wage cut from PSG, who, he's 36. But did you see him play against Palace? Okay, you could say, did you see him play against West Brom? But, shit happens. It was just unfortunate it happened in his first game. Everyone makes a mistake now and again. But at the end of the day, the window has been weird. One last thing I want to ask you guys as well, as I don't think it has been confirmed yet. Malong Sarr, our other signing this summer, still hasn't gone on loan. Apparently, he's going to go to Porto. But the poor guy, we got him from bloody Nice for him to go to Porto. I mean, I know they're in the Champions League. But still, it's the Portuguese league compared to the French league. I'm like, it's probably not what he was hoping for, is it?
Nah, but he was going to go on loan anyway, wasn't he? I think they announced
a bad league, I think. But not to Porto, like probably to a Premier League club, to the Bundesliga, to, another French team or whatever, not to a worse league than he was already in, I assume.
Yeah, it isn't the best of leagues. The most I can say is might learn a bit from Pepe, but other than that, I don't really know what else more to make of it, really. Could have found a better club, but we know he was going on loan anyway, so just as
we knew that. We knew that. Although even that isn't confirmed yet, and I don't know how much longer the Portuguese window is open for. So
I'm just trying to have a look at this now.
Yeah. Someone let us know in the comments.
And Lewis, what do you think about the transfer window overall? Whether we managed to get funds in at the end now, whether we got Declan Rice in at the end, we just have to be happy, don't we?
Absolutely amazing window. I have zero complaints. We have seen some awful windows over the last 3 years. We're still suffering from that. That's probably the reason why I'd give it a 9 out of 10, not a perfect 10. Also because of the market crash and everything like that. But it's been amazing. And depending on how the season goes, it could be one of the best windows in our history.
I completely agree. I did a video on this channel, like, what was it, a month ago now at this point, saying, is this the best transfer window in Chelsea's history? And, maybe it's not quite 2003, 2004, but it's up there.
No, I'll never say it's the best, unless we literally go and win the Champions League 4 years on the bounce. But it's definitely up there.
Yeah. Okay, but the 2011 transfer window wasn't the best transfer window, even though we won the Champions League. So.
Oh, yeah, I think it was Mata and no one else.
Yeah, I think Mata. Morelos, maybe? Was he already here? I don't remember.
No, he was there for 1 year, won the Champions League and bounced.
Absolute
edge.
Apparently, the Portuguese window closes on the 25th of October.
Plenty of times to go to Porto then.
That is nuts.
So weird, isn't it? Like, why?
Apparently, that's according to ESPN as well. So, Russia's on the 17th as well. Can't really see anyone going there, but
probably not. If you want a bit of a vaccine,
bugger that. Then that's about it, really.
Yeah.
A fair few leagues have closed already, to be fair.
True. So someone else in the comments said Anindya Gautam. I'm really bad at pronouncing these kind of names. I do apologize, mate. Said, why did we not buy a backup right wing after Lenny William go? I mean, we kind of judged on it already, but touched on it already. But it is still a weird one. We let two wingers go, didn't sign a single one. It's a bit weird, isn't it?
Yeah, but he just upgrades hudson-odoi in a way.
But Hudson-odoi was here already last year, wasn't he? We just got Ziyech in.
Yeah, but he was what, third choice?
and now he is.
I still don't like Hudson-Odoi playing on the right-hand side. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, me neither. I completely agree.
I prefer him on the left. The problem is that you're going to have Pulisic involved, and he's never going to get him ahead of him.
He was initially a left winger. We just played him on the right because he wasn't benching Hazard.
Exactly.
And now he's not going to bench Pulisic, but realistically, he's not going to bench Ziyech either. Not at the start, anyway.
Just interchanges with either of them. Super sub Hudson-Odoi.
I think Hudson-Odoi. I don't know if you've noticed this at all in the last couple of weeks. Last couple of games when he's been playing. He just looks scared to take people on, which was like one of his main strengths before. Well, especially in the Europa League winning season, it was one of his best strengths was just drive at people and take them on and beat them for pure pace. And he just kind of looks scared to do it now.
For me, when he's on the left, he does it. When he's on the right, he doesn't. For me, it's a simple explanation. He doesn't have a left foot. So he doesn't take people on when he's on the right. It's a bit like Ian Robin. If you put him on the left, well, screwed. I'm going to cross the ball. I'm not going to do anything else. And I guess that's kind of the problem with Hudson-Odoi. And he did cross it in the end against Palace second half. It got better. He took people on, even if it was around the outside, but it still helped us create a couple of chances. And that's good. But, the kid's young. He's 19. Improve your left foot, and you'll be better on the right, I guess.
I think he's, again, I said, if 70 million came in, I'd be very tempted to take it, but that's for so many players. But realistically, he's got a future. He's gonna play at Chelsea this season. We know that's coming. He is going to kind of be probably a little bit limited to game time minutes and stuff. But answering the question of why we only brought in one is because you've brought in Kai Havertz, who's got experience playing right wing. You've got Mason Mount, who's becoming more experienced playing right wing, although we do and don't like it for various reasons. It's not the perfect scenario to only have three wingers. Again, Werner can play out on the left-hand side, but can the other two go and play on the right? It's a different matter. It's not ideal, no, granted. But that's the reason why. It's because Lampard believes in Kai Havertz. He believes in Mount. He believes in Ziyech, even, to be fair. That these kind of guys that can play a full season, rotate a little bit around between the three of them, but that's about it. Yeah,
I mean, I'm sure he wouldn't have minded signing an extra winger.
Oh, yeah, well,
it's just weird that striker is one position. We have three. Wingers is two positions, and we have three. It's a bit strange. But yeah, Anthony Ramon, however you want to pronounce your name, he said you can't judge transfer windows in the present. This could be the worst if we just take a crap with these guys. Whatever you're trying to say with that. Wait 2-3 years, and you're not wrong with that. But because we signed young players, even if they don't work out, their resale value will still be good. So it can never be a huge flop.
It takes about, I don't think, it's a really negative way of looking at it, in my opinion. It's like looking at 5 key players flopping in a season. Doubt it.
Yeah, that's very true.
Yeah, that's very true.
That is very true. Let me just get to like 1 or 2 more things from the chat, and then we're going to leave it here. Of course, guys, like I said already, make sure you subscribe to these two. Their links are down in the description below. Subscribe to my channel. We still have over 100 people watching, and we're going for an hour now, so appreciate that a lot. Everyone, subscribe and drop a like. That'd be great. Someone said,
just as you look for that comment, seen the thing here about Rüdiger. Just been told, generally believes that Rüdiger can play his way into the team under Frank Lampard. 1 or 2 good games could do it, apparently. But he's also known to be a very confident and extravagant character, and the next few months will be vital for him at Chelsea.
Yeah, interesting. Rüdiger redemption season, potentially.
Interesting thing is, will he get those 1 or 2 games? No. Or does he need injuries for them to get them?
Yeah. It would have been
We're going to need to rotate.
Yeah, but that's only if Tomori goes out on loan. If Tomori stays, Rüdiger doesn't get a game.
Yeah, actually, because that's already 4 centre-backs.
Yeah.
Yeah. If Saar doesn't go.
That's the only thinking. Not even good. Jester's Vengeance said Christian Pulisic will only play 60 minutes, and that leaves Hudson-Odoi 30 minutes a game. You're saying Pulisic can never play more than an hour. I mean, I know he has injury problems, which is almost as worrying as Ruben, because the guy needs to sort his hamstrings out.
This guy's American. He knows his stuff. He knows his stuff about Pulisic.
But the problem is, it's not necessarily about minutes, because I mean, he tore his hamstring in the FA Cup final after 46. So
yeah, it's like I think Pulisic can play more than 60 minutes, but I do get the point. I think the idea is that Chelsea, after 60 minutes of the game, will be done and dusted. So
hopefully,
yeah, you can afford to play hudson-odoi. But again, if we're not, then he's playing for a lot more.
Yeah. I think there's one thing with Pulisic is that we need to be careful of. He almost shouldn't play more than one game a week until he gets over these, because hamstring issues, just because you're back from injury, it takes you another few weeks to actually be at 100%, not even just weeks, arguably months. So until that point, just because he does seem to be a bit prone to those problems, just like either bring him on in the Prem and then start him in the Champions League, or the other way around. Don't do a Lampard and start him every game until he gets injured, like he did with Kante, like he did with Pulisic, like it does seem to like to do with every player, which is my one and big criticism of Frank Lampard. Stop injuring everybody. But other than that, I think we're about to leave it here. Guys, do you have anything else to say? Lewis, one last thing you want to touch on, or just, otherwise just, sign
just
out?
Sub to my channel, Carefree Lewis G, and thanks for having me on, guys.
Perfect. Ian?
Sub to Craigo 28 football, up the Chelsea, and decent window. Come on.
Exactly. And, subscribe to Laurenz Vescoli. Follow me on Instagram and Twitter. The links are down in the description. Their links are down in the description. Follow them on YouTube, on the socials as well, of course. And like I said, subscribe to my channel. Drop a like if you enjoyed this. I thank everyone for tuning in. A lot of people have tuned in today, so I appreciate that a lot. And like Lewis said, like Ian said, great transfer window at the end of the day, even if transfer deadline day was a bit dead. Maybe that's why it's called deadline day. You never know. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Up the Chelsea, and I'll see you next time.